Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to the final episode of Getting More Out of Ferdinand. And joining me once again is Eric. And today we're going to be going over assault number 12, wherein we kind of just turn him into sushi. It's great, right? So the idea here is I think this assault is absolutely a good combo that you should know how to do, but is more focused on kind of blending together everything we've already covered. You know, you can do these 11, now you should be able to do this 12th one. So the way it works is that we don't know our initial starting guards. It could be a variety of different things, but for this, we're going to go ahead and have Eric just in the medium guard, I'll be in the outside guard, because that's kind of our starting positions. Eric is going to throw a medium cut at me, which we know is the number 7, prompting me to parry in St. George, which I will go ahead and I shifted forward, but shift on. Following this parry, I am going to fake a medium back at him. So I throw a feint to provoke him into going to St. George. Now, as that cut is coming around, I'm going to let my tip drop so that I can cut on the inside line against his face. Now, this could be a couple different cuts, right? Ferdinand doesn't necessarily say a number 3 or even from below. He just says on the inside line. But since I want to go under the point, it is best for me to do a number 3 to catch his chin. This is a very, very good combination and one you can do quite easily. So we'll look at it again. He cuts, shift, fake, go. Right? Now, after I hit, I'm going to keep this going and drag it past his arm. So I hit the chin, and I keep it going on. I might also clip arm. I'm then going to traverse out with my left foot as I double the cut onto the outside of his arm. This is just a good 1-2. We've seen this in a couple other sources before. Kind of hard to go wrong with. So here's that again. Parry, through. Now, you can also, if you want to, especially if you know you're going to do this, start playing around with where that lead foot goes. So at the moment, I'm going straight forward, right? Especially to accommodate for his shift on his St. George. Alternatively, I can step a bit crossways with my 3 cut. This will also be nice if I'm tagging the arm rather than the face, which will blend well into my next step because I'm already kind of going that way, but it's not required. Now, let's get back to that finishing position. He cuts, parry, fake, cuts. Now at this point, what I am described to do is I cut, and then I am to lower my sword to prompt him into throwing another medium at me. Why? Well, 1, he's probably pretty upset with me at this point, but 2, I am always going to end up in distance for him to throw one more shot at me with this particular play. Always, because I'm hitting him twice. If I were just doing that first shot, I could recover out of it. But since I'm staying in for one more beat, I am going to be in the pocket for a bit longer. So, with that in mind, since I'm going to be in the pocket a bit more, what we're going to do is after I hit and come down, let's make it so he only has one place to go. If my sword is low, it's probably going to swing for my head. If I left my sword up where it was, who knows what he might do, and I don't want to risk that, right? Especially since I'm coming downward with a 2 anyway, this blends together quite well. Now, our response from there. After I cut the outside of his arm and lower the sword, he throws medium, I am going to catch it by lowering my body and raising my arm. So this is meant to still be St. George, but it's less worried about shifting. It's much more worried about when he's cutting down, kind of going underneath the cut. I'm running away from it, putting my guard up in the way, so even if he was really swinging hard, I'm safe, because he'll never reach my head. Now, following that, because we're particularly spiteful in this play, I'm just going to cut his leg. So, I'm open, he cuts, lower, boom, I'm out of it. So, total 3 hits, Eric discombobulated, me walking to the puck. Let's go over it one more time. 4? Yes, you're right, I did it. Well, 3 hits. Alright, so here's the whole thing again. So, medium, fake, 1, 2, catch, leg, done. One more time. Medium, fake, 1, 2, catch, done. Now we'll switch sides. Medium, fake, 1, 2, catch, done. Now if you notice, my traversal was a little bit far away from him because I saw his hands start to move. If you notice that after you do that first cut, so I'm St. George and I hit this, if before my cut is coming down he's starting to cut, go ahead and just withdraw, catch it in St. George however you need to. It really depends upon your speed and his activation. If he fell for my feint, he should still be in the process of guarding St. George when this one lands, and he won't have time to then stop my second cut. But if he didn't, because he knows it's coming, you might have some issues there. One more time in completion now. Medium, feint, 1, 2, catch, go. And you see how that squat saves your life when you're up tight to him. But either way, thank you very much, Eric. That is going to conclude our series on Ferdinand. So, what did we learn? One, these are all very, very useful assaults that build upon each other. They give you a lot of really cool things to use. I would say that they're best done in order like we did, because they go from least complicated to most complicated. And while I do think I read into it more than was actually written in some regards, these are still just, fencing know-hows that probably another reader would also consider. So I would very much treat it as, let's take this from the beginning, see what lessons can be learned, rather than just going, ooh, new moves, and trying to make that part of your playbook, because that won't do you a lot of good. If we're doing these things in drill, like we've talked about, you can do it mobile, you can do a bunch of different things. In this case, the best one I think would be for it, just have your opponent throw a medium at me whenever I'm moving around, right? So we're just both in guard, right? We can be in a variety of guards, but we're just moving around, etc. At any point, he goes and just throws that medium. I go through it, and life's good, right? You can do that very, very easily. It's a relatively long combination, so I'd also break it up on occasion. Give some particular isolation to that first action, as that can be a very, very nice feint to get particularly smooth as you go. And then the redoubling, and then finally that quick little catch, because it really does kind of go unsung, but that last cut, especially if someone's really going for you, right, can really surprise people and lead to a bunch of different things depending upon what you need, especially if you're very used to shifting. Think of it almost like a shift in place, but going the opposite direction. Either way, though. Hopefully you all have enjoyed the series. We're going to be putting it to rest for a minute, and I'm going to be starting on some new series, which will be coming out also today when you are watching this. So, thank you very, very much. We'll go over some other techniques another time.